Welcome. This is News Insight. I am your host, Amos Oluwapelumi, and I have two discussants today. We even have a special discussant today in the studio. We have Mr. Emmanuel Obeta.
It's my
It's nice
pleasure.
having you, Mr. Obeta.
It's
And
my
we have
pleasure.
Engineer Kingsley still in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And today we'll be discussing about Port Harcourt Refinery commencement of crude oil production. So my question is, how would this commencement affect Nigeria's economy? Mr. Obeta, can I hear from you, sir?
Well, Port Harcourt Refinery, the commencement of production is a huge thing for the Nigerian economy from different dimensions. I mean, over the years, a lot of money has been voted to maintain that refinery in billions of dollars. And now that it has commenced production, that will cease. At least that will save a whole lot of money for Nigeria. From the level of maintenance, also from the level of employment and from the level of engaging staff. So it will provide meaningful employment. Thirdly, that it will provide a ripple effect because once it starts production, a lot of business activities will start flourishing there. Tankers will go there to lift other people employment, other ancillary services will start around there. So it will contribute to a general boom, improvement in the economy.
So don't you think, because now we know that the price of their own oil is like 75 naira higher than Dangote's own. So with that hike, won't it still affect the Nigeria's economy on a negative side?
Okay, yes. Before we even get to that, I was building up to that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, one thing that it might do for the Nigerian economy is to reduce the level of importation of fuel.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. In 2023, Nigeria spent about 18.7 billion US dollars to import PMS into Nigeria. So with the Port Harcourt Refinery coming on board, Dangote Refinery coming on board, that issue of importation of fuel might cease.
Okay.
And if the importation of fuel will cease, there will be a huge savings in terms of foreign exchange.
Okay.
So the money that will have been spent in importing fuel will now be saved.
Okay.
We will now be transacting possibly based on Naira.
Okay.
Crude oil is produced in Naira in Nigeria, and then there could be, so that will reduce our foreign exchange exposure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now, coming to the question you asked, which is also very valiant, because everything that Nigerians are expecting is something like a palliative, something that will give them a breather, make life
relief.
more meaningful, a relief. So if Port Harcourt Refinery starts and is more expensive than Dangote refinery oil, then that's also a big problem because that will mean further increase in the price of fuel,
Yes.
which is what the Nigerians are crying that the pressure and the load is too much on them. So it still has not finished solving the problem.
Okay.
Because the poor man will still be suffering.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Kingsley, please let's hear from you.
Yeah, of course. The huge part is the savings in Forex. He has said it. It's a good news, no doubt about that. I mean, we feel better that from the report we had last year from the reps panel that said that they spent over 4.8 trillion in maintaining the refineries over the years with almost no reasonable output. I think about 11% efficiency. This is a good news, no matter how you look at it. And also, it gives us something to compare with Dangote. Now you are talking about 75 naira per liter difference, even though they are trying to deny that it's not fully established. We have something to compare with Dangote. And along the line, I think the price will go down. It should go down because by the time we start saving this forex, essentially our cost of forex will also drop because we do not have so much need of forex at that time. So the price will drop, and because so many of their inputs are also dependent on dollar because some of the inputs to the cost are like amortization of the fixed cost of establishing and maintaining the refinery. In terms of Dangote, for example, Dangote didn't set up that refinery with all locally sourced materials
Yeah.
or all locally sourced equipment. So cost of those equipments will be amortized as depreciation expenses or whatever over the lifetime of the refinery. They were built in dollars. So eventually, there's still going to be savings. You understand? And as you have it, the employment is still going to generate because we will have now more fuel available. And mind you, there are various classes of products.
That we get.
Yes, which will stimulate other industries.
Yes.
You understand? So the price reduction is going to cut across board. We're always interested in this petrol, so that's just the aim thing. The diesel is there. A lot of naphtha that needs to be refined more again will be there. So most other industries will be stimulated. No doubt about that. And I think they should take a cue in also activating the Kaduna one, the second of
The second
yes,
refinery.
and that of Warri
Yeah.
for them to work at full capacity.
Yeah. Okay, so we are talking about importation of crude oil from other countries. This importation, do you think it's going to like reduce drastically from
Yes.
other countries?
To be honest with you, by the time the local productions are sufficient, I think foreign production should be stopped at that time.
Okay.
Not necessarily that to keep competing with the local ones. Ordinarily, you will say, oh, let them bring in whichever that is cheaper,
They will get.
we'll get. But mind you, we are spending forests in getting those foreign products.
Yeah.
So you understand, we are spending forests, no matter how you look at it. We are spending forests in getting those foreign products. So it should be stopped at that time. But you can't stop it when you can't satisfy the local production. So by the time we have sufficient amount of PMS and other this thing, we should be able to put a stop
Okay,
at it.
so okay, you have
Maybe
something
just
to
to give more background to
Okay.
it. Nigerian fuel consumption before the subsidy removal was about 54 million liters. When the subsidy was removed, it came down to 14 million liters. The installed capacity of Dangote refinery alone it can refine 650
barrels.
barrels of crude liter per day,
Yeah.
which translates to that 54 million liters of PMS in addition to all other byproducts.
Okay.
So you find out that when you now add the installed capacity of Port Harcourt, which
Which
they
is at
say is
60,000
barrel per day,
yes.
okay, producing at 70%
70%.
installed capacity, you find out that Nigerian need for PMS will have been more than met. When you put that in place, put that Dangote said, and like he said, if we're able to resuscitate Warri and
And Kaduna
Kaduna
refinery.
refinery, the issue of importation should be over in Nigeria.
Okay.
And the benefit is this: we will no longer be importers. We can now export.
yeah.
And as we export, we will earn foreign exchange,
Okay.
which is the bane of Nigeria's economy.
Okay.
Because once we have robust exchange, facilities and credit position, then Nigeria's economy will start breathing, the life will come back to the economy.
Yes.
All the businesses that have left or that are leaving will start coming back gradually, and life will come back to the economy.
Okay.
But the critical issue also is that regardless of this installed capacity and capacity to produce, production efficiency has to be put into place. Because it's now the production efficiency that will determine and the price that the product will come out, which is the critical factor for the Nigerian citizen.
Okay.
Because if we have enough fuel, we're not importing, but Nigerians can't afford it, it will still not translate to better living for
Exactly.
Nigeria.
There won't be any relief.
There will be any relief, and
Yes.
for Nigerians, it will not make any sense.
Yes.
You have foreign exchange earnings that does not translate to the immediate day-to-day life of the Nigerian. It doesn't make sense.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So my next question is, we talk about the government saying they use more than over 3 trillion naira to maintain our refineries. So going forward, what do you think will be the challenges when it comes to maintaining these refineries?
In general, Nigerians have had these challenges of maintenance. And it is not far-fetched when people begin to say, let there be private actors. Because you find out that private buildings, for example, are being maintained by people, but public buildings are not.
Yes.
So I think we should have a better framework of stimulating more private actors into the system. I'm looking at this as
You
a
always say
whole,
that.
yes, sister, rather than Dangote Refinery, no Port Harcourt Refinery, let's have a kind of a macro look at it, such that we'll have a delivery network completely. Now, we're talking about this fuel being available. The fuel being available. In most remote locations, they are buying it 5 times. I'm not joking. They are buying it 5 times. It's only in the major cities that we have this. So we should have a complete framework, energy framework, where the maintenance is rules and procedures are established. There should be a standard. There should be a shutdown time in order to maintain your refinery. You understand? It should be established like an operational policies, and it should be given out to all refineries. It doesn't have to be dependent on the internal policy of that company.
Okay.
Do you understand? The regulators should have, annually, every company must must send this report about their maintenance culture, the maintenance carried out, what they did, what was found annually. Do you understand? So if it comes as a policy and operated by regulators rather than themselves focusing on manufacturing and all that, you know, when you are the supervisor, you are the student, it's always hard. You are the worker, you are the supervisor. So, but if we have, a regulator, a maintenance, just strictly on maintenance. Litre, it doesn't have to be a very big agency. Strictly a maintenance, ensuring that every refinery is implementing that maintenance culture, establish it as a standard, we'll be able to go a long way.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. The other side of it also is that it costs more to maintain a non-functional factory than an operational factory.
Okay.
Because you see, at that point in time when all that money was being voted for so many years, those refineries were not operational. And if you know something about operations, this is crude. The pipelines, the crude flows through the pipeline, through the process, all the process and all that before, through all the chambers and all that.
Yeah.
And you do not have, so once you shut down and you're not producing,
It starts to
the,
get worse.
the deterioration process is higher.
Yes.
And the cost of maintenance is higher. But when you are producing and operating, the cost of maintenance will come lower because you will only maintain those ones that are faulty. Or even if you're going to do general maintenance, it will just be routine, precautionary, or preventive maintenance. It will not just be the entire facility. So going forward, now that it has become operational, I do not expect and I don't imagine that the cost of maintenance will be anywhere near what it used to be.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Engineer Kingsley and Mr. Obita. It was nice having you in the studio. This is still News Insight, and we'll be back soon on another segment. I am Pelumi, your host. Bye for now.